Okay, so hello everybody. This is the third demo. Um, I'm going to stick here with a little bit more, I guess, broad things that you can do with, um, with just basic general computer use. Um, and basically, what we're going to go through now is if you have two screens that you want to have, or two applications open on the computer, or if you have different tabs open and you want to scroll through them, and all that kind of stuff. So those are the shortcuts that we're going to be learning right now. Okay, so let's now remember um, the fundamental. Um, this is from the last session, but the fundamental lesson from last time was the Windows key and how it's imperative that you make it a habit of clicking the Windows key rather than taking the mouse and clicking on, whichever application that you want to click on. So, again, just like last time, I want us to think about as if we've just logged on and, we got some work to do, or, we're going to be using two different applications and we want to split screen them, or whatever it is. So, I'm not gonna use the mouse at all probably this session unless I screw up. And another key fundamental point is that as we all make mistakes, and sometimes you might click the wrong button, or you might do something wrong, and the only thing you have to do is click escape. So think of it as if like you're escaping out of your current situation that you're in, and and it basically just ends it. So, so in this kind of situation, basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to, open an Excel document. So again, we're not touching the mouse. We use our Windows key. We type in Excel or EX, and it comes up, and we press enter. And this is what it looks like. Okay, so let's say that we want to maximize this window. Right? You see how it's not completely covering the screen, but we want it to completely cover the screen. Okay. So basically, what we're going to do is the Windows key and up arrow. Okay, let me do that again. That is the Windows key that we used. This key, right? The Windows key. So we do Windows key up arrow. Okay. So let's say that we want to minimize it. Okay, we want to take it. How you come up here and click minimize. Let's say that we don't want to minimize it, or we don't want to go up there and click it, right? We want to use our shortcuts. So if you want to minimize it, it's the same thing, except it's the opposite way on the arrow key. It's down. Think about it as you're minimizing it, like you're making it smaller. You're taking it down to the bottom of the screen, right? So Windows key down, it'll go smaller again, and you press down again, and it'll go down. Okay, so let me bring that back up. So remember again, if it's not taking up the screen and you want it to take up the screen, just Windows up arrow, right? And an easy way you can think about this is, the Windows key it's fixated on that window that you have right now, right? So if I want to make this window bigger, it is Windows key up arrow. And if I want to make it smaller, it's Windows key down arrow. And if I want to minimize it, all I have to do is hit it one more time. Okay. So, okay, now that we got that, right? Let's say that we just open up Excel and we want to put it away for now, right? Now, let's say we want to open up a Word document. So we hit the Windows key, right? We go to WOR, and we press enter. And so it came up, we press enter, and let's say we want to make it as we want to make it the whole screen. So remember, we do Windows key because we want the window to increase in size. We want it to take up the whole page. So it's a Windows up arrow. Okay. Now let's say, remember, we want to minimize it now. So it's Windows down arrow. It's going to make it small. Windows down arrow is going to minimize it the whole way. Okay. So let's say that Um, we have some work that's requiring us to move some text or something from the Excel file to the Word file or vice versa. All right, so let's go down here and let's just click on here. So now we want them side by side, right? So we want Excel on the left or whatever. It doesn't really matter on the left. We just want them evenly split. So to do that, if you want it to the right side of the screen, then it's Windows key right arrow. And then you're gonna have these other documents come up. So you can scroll through them, right? So I'm recording um, this screen recording on PowerPoint, so that's why that's there. But you can scroll through here and figure out which application you want to be beside it, right? So obviously, let's say we want Excel to be beside it. So now we have Excel on the left and Word on the right, and so perfect. So we have that, and let's say that we're over here on Excel, and I don't know, we're doing like revenues and expenses, and we have like net income, and let's just say that we have $800 here, $400 here, and we're doing the difference here. And if you remember from the Excel demo to auto fit. So we'll just do a real quick review lesson. To auto fit it, remember it's Alt H because we're using the home tab to format it and to make it the auto fit width, right? So that's how we do that. And remember for borders, remember we just highlight it all, and it's Alt H, B for border, right? And we want all orders or all borders, which is A. All borders, and that makes sense because it's A for all borders, right? So like bottom is O, left is L, that makes sense. R is R. So let's just say we want all borders, and that's Control A. Okay. So now let's just say we want to Control bold this, and it gets Control bolded. Okay. So now let's say we want to put this information over here on Excel. Let's say we want to put it on this Word document over here, but we don't want to use the mouse. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to Control Copy. Okay, and we're going to use Alt Tab. And whenever you press Alt Tab, this is what's going to come up. So these are all the applications that I have open, right? So this is the shortcut thing that I have open. And by the way, I'm holding down Alt right now. So whenever you open it up, you have to keep Alt held down and you press Tab to scroll through, right? So always keep Alt held down and Control let you navigate through, okay? So I want to copy this information to this document. See how it's highlighted now? So I release it. I release Alt and I can Control V and it's going to pop up, okay? So that's a lot. I get that. It's kind of confusing. And it's going to take a lot of like practice and alt tabbing and control tabbing and just really getting a fundamental understanding of how this whole thing works with the shortcuts. So we'll I'll do this one more time just to kind of reinforce it so we can go through it one more time again. This is all about repetition and making sure that we understand the shortcuts. So remember, I'm not going to save any of this. And remember to close the application. It is Alt F4. Remember that Alt F4 to close the application. We're not going to save it. So we have this one over here. Remember, we're not going to save it here. We're going to do Alt F4 and we're not going to save. So now we're back at where we were basically. So let's go through this one more time and let's think about it logically. Like I said, somebody created these, right? Like somebody had to have in mind the shortcuts and what made sense and how it was easiest to learn. So we need to be thinking about that as we go through it. So again, we will open an Excel tab. We'll open up a Word tab, and we'll just go back and forth, and get the information transferred without having to touch the mouse. So again, remember Windows key. That's fundamental. Windows key. So we're gonna press the Windows key, and we're gonna go to Excel EXC. We're gonna press enter. It's gonna open up. And now, right now, let's say I want to dictate whether I want Excel on the left hand side or Excel on the right hand side. Let's say I want on the left hand side. Remember, it's the Windows button, left arrow. And because I have this Word document over here, that's the reason why it's all the way over there. But anyways, um, and let's say that I don't want that presentation up there. All I have to do is press escape and it just stays there. All right. So so we have Excel. We want to open up Word. So now Word's open, and we want to make it to the right. So remember, Windows key, right arrow, and this kind of looks messed up because of the other document I had on here, but we can fix that. So if we go Alt Tab over here to Book Excel, we can basically make it halfway and then have our document halfway. So you can just kind of play around. Remember, this is the Windows key. The Windows key and the arrows, right? If you want to do, depending on which side you want to put stuff on, just make sure that your application is highlighted and you can move it around wherever you want. You can even actually have four. So if I wanted to put it down here, I could have this up here, and I could go over here to my Word or my Excel, and I could have this like this. So you could do that too. So you can have four. But in this case, I just want to have Excel, and I want to have Word open. So, all right. So sorry if I'm going too fast. Hopefully I'm not. And hopefully you're getting this. Um, so again, let's say I want to go over here to Excel, Alt Tab. Remember, I still have Alt held down. You can scroll through by pressing Tab. Highlight Excel, let it go. Highlight Excel, let it go. I didn't run. Thought it did. But anyways, so remember revenues, expenses, net income. Remember auto fit. Alt H O I. One more time. Alt H O I, and you will auto fit. So say we have 800 in revenue, 400 in expenses, and we want to have the difference. And remember, we want to put a border on it, so we're going to Control Shift, Alt H, Alt H, B, A for all borders. Okay. And let's say we want to make it a little pretty, get a little bit of that. I don't know, maybe we want to put income statement. And we want to make this, we want to merge it across two cells so it covers the thing. So remember, that's Alt H, M, merge and center, C, right? Let's say we want to bold it, Control B. Let's say we want to fill it with a color. So we want Alt H. Remember, fill is H. Fill is H. So H again, and we can scroll through here, and we like this one, and that's what we look like. But we need to put a border on it too. So Alt H, B. Okay, so now that we got um, our fill done, all of our numbers in here, we want to transfer it over to our Word document. So here, we're just remember Control Copy, Control C. Remember, we want to take it over to the other side to the Word document. So we Alt Tab, make sure that it's highlighted, and we Control V it. Okay. So that's how we do that. Again, kind of the fundamental things that we learned here was Alt tab, right? We can scroll through everything without touching the mouse. We don't have to go down. Oh, oops. There we go. We don't have to go down here and press, you know, or we don't have to go down here. And if we want to go over here, we have to come down here and press it. All we have to do is just basically find out where applications are, and we can scroll through them, come up on the screens. So yeah, hopefully this was educational, and yeah, we'll get the lesson going and reiterate some of these things that we learned.